we are here, Fit for Life Radio. Today we have your hosts and a guest host. So it's going to be myself, Gary, and Will. And we are tag teaming in Diego, Coach
Heavy
Diego.
D.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Big D.
Mm.
Filling in
Big
for
D.
Benji.
I don't know if I can fill in that spot, but we'll see.
We'll
I
try
think
our
you got
best.
it, man.
We will try our best.
This is a big responsibility right there.
What
All
do you
you-
think, Ben? What is Ben doing right now? Is the question.
He's at that competition with Kelly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure then.
What's he doing?
There you go. That's where Ben's at.
What'd he say?
He had a weightlifting competition.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
He's like the like the boxing coach kind of.
Dude, he's like
Mr.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So today we're going to talk about, we have something we talk about a lot behind closed doors. Is
We're gonna open the doors.
And we've mentioned it on the show here before. And one reason we have Diego with us is because he does a lot of our like coaching our clients with our online messaging platform and really digging in with them. So he has a lot of good insight on this. We're going to talk about maintenance. All right, the power of maintenance really as a goal, and after weight loss, having to deal with maintenance, when's a good time for it, and just the whole mindset around it.
Yep. This is the hard part.
So if you're listening, you're thinking, well, maintenance and goal. Why would my goal be maintenance? But ultimately, it really should be it has to be everyone's goal at some point. Even if
you can't just keep losing weight.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Doesn't
have
work
to
that
maintain
way.
Your whole life.
Or you just turn into nothing.
Yep. And the other thing is, what we're finding, and people know it's just hard to do, is, and really, even if you have a big weight loss goal, say like you need to lose 60 pounds, it's actually better, and you'll probably be more productive working in maintenance periods in there versus just straight trying to lose all the weight at once.
Yep. So I think it's important to just frame it in this way too. Like, losing weight's great, but it's still stressful to your body. Like, it's a stress in and of itself, even though it is for a positive goal and it's good. And basically, realizing that something's stressful, like you have to manage it. And it can't just be constant, or it can start to be negative, or just, not, you'll start to halt or feel crappy. And you do need to give yourself time to recover. So just like training, when we train, we don't just train 7 days a week. Like, you have to be able to recover. And, taking, something we do at the gym, like you take deload weeks to give yourself maybe even more of a break. Same thing with losing weight. You're not going to be able to just keep losing weight. You've got to have those periods to rest and recover and kind of let your body acclimate.
And also framing it as like shorter kind of journeys with some kind of a stop. Like, you're not. It's gonna be harder if you think you're gonna, let's put into traveling, just travel all year long, right? Where you're just going. But if you have a slight travel, you enjoy that, and then you go home, and then you travel again. Like, you have those stops, those breaks, where it's not like just going all the time. You need like that just break to reset, and not just see it as a long ass journey. Because if not, it could be, like Will said, it could be too stressful. It could be detrimental.
Yep. And what happens is, so we'll kind of break it down into two conversations. One will be the actual physical stuff that's going on, and then the mental. All right.
Yep.
So for the physical, you have, when you're dieting, and here's the thing. Here's the catch, right? You have, like, when we say, like, you almost have to earn the maintenance too. Like, if you're kind of trying, but you're not, and you're not really losing weight, and you're not truly in a deficit, then this doesn't really apply, right? Like, you have to be honest with yourself. Like, someone could be like, oh, I've been trying to do something. Maybe I need to go in maintenance, but at the end of the day, you'll know. Like, you have to truly be like losing weight, losing pounds, and truly in a deficit. Because then when that happens physically, your hormones downregulate, your your mental, like kind of like how your body's gonna, like, it's called NEAT, so non-exercise activity. Basically, you'll notice like you want to do less, those kind of things. That's what happens when you're in a deficit and you're losing weight, and you're gonna need a break from it.
Yep.
So, for example, and for most people, you could go two ways. You could go, the best plan of attack is probably like diet and plan to be in a deficit for 3 months at a time, and or when you lose 10 to 15% of your body weight, right?
Yep.
So you could kind of take either or. If you happen to lose 10% of your body weight, take a little break, go into maintenance mode for like an equal amount of time that it took you, or for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it's going to then upregulate your hormones and put you back into a good place. Like your workouts are going to feel better, you're mentally going to feel better, and then you can plan to do another dieting period.
Yep.
What happens is people get into this almost like it's the lifestyle mode is being in that deficit, and all the negatives, of having less energy, not being as strong, all that, and you just want to be careful not to get sucked into that's the whole deal.
But then, and also sometimes, like, you go too far in, and then that becomes your new normal, right? So, like, your exercise level or your activity, you see it as your new normal, or you're actually not putting as much effort as you would like to, but you don't even realize it anymore. So, like, giving yourself that break to where you bring your calories up slightly, go in maintenance mode, you'll notice, like, a really good increase in, like you said, in your workouts, and the difference between actually having more energy, more fuel in your body, than just being low all the time. If you get stuck in that route, it's going to be hard to notice a difference.
Absolutely. That's what most people notice. And, talking with somebody either yesterday or the day before about, she's been in maintenance, upped her calories a little bit, just feels a lot better. Like her training feels better. She feels better. You're almost, a little more at ease, like as a whole. Your whole body is just a little more efficient and just under less duress. So, yeah, it's important. And I think like a month minimum, do a month, see how you feel. Am I starting to feel better? It may take 3 months. If you've been dieting for 2 years, you might need to take 3-4 months of just, let's coast. Let's, make sure, my training's going great. I'm moving really well. I'm feeling well. I'm sleeping and all that kind of stuff. And my, emotional state is good. And that's okay. It's okay to take that time.
Yeah. And you'll notice it, like, with energy through the day. Just let's say, like, for this particular client, you have kids at home, you have other stuff you have to do every day, work, etc. So you need energy in order to do those kind of things. So you spend too much time in a deficit, slowly your energy is going to start draining, and everything's going to kind of feel really hard to accomplish. So you want that break where your body can recover, and then you can go again where your body's a little. It has adjusted to having more energy going, and then it's ready to start bringing the calories down again and kind of push that boundary again.
Yeah, and the hard part mentally is then you have to just tell yourself, like, the goal of this phase is like you're not going to really lose weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fine.
And that leads us to the problem with when people get attached to losing weight and like that's who they are, and getting the pats on the back, and that's then why people freak out when you tell them, hey, let's have you eat more. Now the goal is not to gain weight either, but like you want to see what you can get away with. Like how much can you eat and stay the same weight, and understand like that food's nourishment. It's not like this bad guy.
Yep.
So that's the challenge.
And yeah, that is the hard part. Like you diet for. Say some people, like, you've been losing weight for 3 years, and then you're going to come to a point where you need to maintain. And because there's nowhere else you can't just keep losing, for your whole life, like we just said. And so you have to come to terms with, like, the ultimate goal is to be able to get to a weight you can maintain healthily for the rest of your life. And that's hard when all you've done and all you've been for the past couple of years is the person that's losing weight. And you do get the pats on the back. Oh, you look great. What are you doing? What's your diet like? What are you working out and all this stuff? And that kind of comes to a stop at a point to where you're not getting those constant pats on the back anymore, and you're just the person, like you are the fit person now, and you're the lean person, you're the strong person, and you're not really going to lose any more weight for the most part. And that's very hard, because that's the person you've been for years. And without that, some people might think like, well, who am I? If I'm not the person losing weight, then, what do I have going for me? And it's realizing that
what's going to be my value? What if people are going to recognize me
Yeah.
now? Like, I'm not that one person. So it's hard. It's a challenge to let go of that image of, I want to keep losing weight because, that's your whole deal lately. And for a lot of people, like, it's a big achievement, and like you should definitely notice it. But then to a point, you also have to come to the conclusion where, like, okay, I have to face this. Like, this is not me, or this is not like what people like me for. So I have to change that.
Yes.
And then also for a lot of people, losing weight is a struggle, right? So they go through like hardship, and they go through these moments where it's like they have to make changes, habit changes, whatever. And all change is hard. It depends how you see it, but all change is hard.
Yep.
So we attach ourselves to hard times a lot. Why? Because we suffered through them, because it was a struggle. So it's going to be easier to get attached to that concept, and we have to check in with ourselves to like, it was a struggle, recognize it, pat yourself in the back for it because you went through all of it, but now like you're in pretty much for a bigger struggle.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just be okay with keeping your weight, with being there.
Yeah.
If you just compare it to life, we want to ride the ups all the time, right? You want to be like in the high, happy and whatever, and most of our days we just spend it on the like just normal stuff.
The middle ground.
Working, being with family, just kind of routine. So you're not expecting our life to just go up and down the whole time, or just be down, 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 or just be up, up, up. It's gonna have a baseline. So like with everything, you have to get to the point where like you just have to be in that baseline and be okay with it.
Yep.
So you're saying basically we just have to we have to look at weight loss as a third world problem. Like it's even more painful, and people are like, I got to get this weight off. But then when you do, and you got to go in maintenance, just look at maintenance as like a first world problem. Like a high school girl doesn't have her cell phone all day. To her, that's a big problem.
It is.
So with maintenance, it's like, oh well, I have to eat more food and stay the same weight, right? Mm-hmm. But that is a struggle in a sense, because you want to keep the same established habits. You don't want to gain weight.
Yep.
So it's still a different kind of struggle.
It is.
You just have to then reframe your mind into like, hey, this is my goal now. And for a lot of people, that's liberating, right? Like a lot of people think, oh, I just have to be in this diet mode and this is my life. And when you tell them, hey, like, tell yourself like, I'm not trying to lose weight, all of a sudden there's like a light bulb moment.
Yeah, you just you shift your mindset to where like you aren't in the weight loss, and it's okay if you don't lose. And I think it's just like Diego was saying, like, change is hard. Well, when you go from losing weight, and you're at that point where you're pretty much done losing most of your weight, like, then it's change. Like you're going from that to there's a new challenge, right? And so you're always going to face resistance when there's a new challenge, and that's just the way life is. And it's just being able to overcome that. Yeah. And that's why people do struggle, is because it's another change. Yep. So it's just facing it and being okay with it, and knowing that it's best for you, for your long-term health, to be able to maintain everything that you've worked for.
And also understand, I mean, we've been referencing a lot, like when you get to your total weight loss goal, but I mean, really what we're saying too is, even if your goal is to lose just say like 15 pounds, it's probably better to lose 7 and then go in maintenance for a month or two, and then lose another 7.
Yep.
This isn't just for people who are like, oh, at final destination.
Mm-hmm.
This is like maintenance as part of the journey is a super key aspect. And when you step back and look at the scale of years and years, it's probably the better approach than just trying to lose all the weight at once, especially if you really enjoy the training and your performance and things like that, with your actual physical training.
Because after a long weight loss, man, like your performance will, like, it'll suffer for sure. you're in a deficit, and if you've been there for a long time, like you might start to notice your, training isn't as good, or you're just not as strong, or you just feel kind of burnt out. And those are things to take note of if you have been in kind of a sustained weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, I don't know if you touched upon on the previous podcast. I haven't really listened to them, but on like what you just recently did with like leaning out slightly and then going back to upping your calories and kind of keeping that just like a short kind of like what happened on kind of your journey on those 8 weeks and then bumping up. Like what did you notice?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I kind of even did the whole thing. I was glad I did, because it got me in like the headspace to remember these things and notice these things. And yeah, so I dieted for 8 weeks, lost like 8 pounds, and yeah, like my energy was down, my workouts were crappy, and your hormones, sex drive, all that's down, and then when you start adding the calories back in and everything you just comes back, that you remember, like, man, like I couldn't imagine being in that state for like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Eventually, like you said, it becomes your new normal probably, and that's not a good thing. You just kind of learn to live in that state. So for me, that's what I learned was really the importance of maintenance, of saying like having these phases and being like, I'm gonna really work on being in a deficit and losing weight for this time frame, and then I'm gonna come out of it and be in a maintenance area, and that we should be obviously in a maintenance area most of the time too. And also when you're losing weight, your body kind of resists it, so you need to create a new set point, like get used to being at that weight. That's the thing. If you go from, say someone went from 200 pounds to 160 pounds, their body's going to fight, and you got to stay at that 160, but it would actually be easier to lose 200, go to 180, get used to being at 180, your body gets comfortable, then go back and then lose and get to 160, and then get used to being at 160. The likelihood of you then staying at 160 doing it that way versus losing 40 all at once, it's actually probably going to be physiologically less stressful and easier on your body.
Yep.
I mean, that's why there's so much like yo-yo dieting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you drop like 20 pounds and then you expect your body to kind of adapt quickly, and you start eating a lot more because you're like, oh, I'm this lean now, but your body's fighting that mode.
Yep.
Your body's fighting because those 20 pounds are a big change for your body, what it's used to carrying around. So it's going to be like, no, let's go back to my normal. This is what I know. I want to stay there. So it's easier to your body to say like, okay, I dropped 7 pounds. I need to adjust to this new set point. Then we can start dieting it again, and it will be easier for your body to readjust again.
Yep. Yeah, you got to give it time to, like you said, like set a new set point. And that doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you hit 20 pounds weight loss, boom, new set point. This is my body's new normal. Like, it takes time for your body and your hormones and everything to adjust to the fact that this is where we operate now. This is our normal level. And yeah, this doesn't happen overnight, so you have to give it time to do that.
Yeah. And the
Gary,
other takeaway I got, Diego, was how this stuff happens not even on, I mean, weekly is a good way to kind of monitor things, but it's almost really on a monthly deal as well. So I noticed, I was kind of like keeping a tab on my calories and pretty consistent with my workouts. So I knew, what my output was. But I would notice, I was telling Will, trends of, when I started bringing my calories back up, the first couple weeks, I'd bring my calories up and my weight would still stay the same, or I'll still losing a little bit. And what I noticed was, it's really almost on like a monthly level, right? Like what you eat, like my monthly calorie average was still, say, 2,200, even though I'd been eating 2,500 for a couple weeks, but I was still losing. So then when I looked at that monthly average, if this makes sense, it still, wasn't at a maintenance level yet. So then once I kind of hit a monthly average of 2,500 calories, my weight started to like stabilize or gain a little. And, that's when it clicked to me, like, man, like people freak out over one meal in one day and one moment, but really this stuff, I mean, it's happening.
It's long term, man.
It's long term,
Yeah.
So like, and that's why sometimes maybe people don't lose weight right away, like just because you drop your calories for a day or a week.
How many were you eating last week and the week
Exactly.
before and the week
and the
before?
month before? So it's just a little more dynamic.
Yep.
So you just can't. You just have to trust the process. Trust the process. Yeah, it's like
Yep.
a cliche thing, but
It's true.
It's so true.
Because if you do like 1 week and you don't see any change, like that might not have been long enough. If you were eating 3,000 calories a day for 4 years and then you go 1 week at 2,000, that might not be enough for you to lose anything at all. But then like you talk about 3 and 4 weeks, all right, well maybe you'll start to see a little bit of a change, and then getting into like 2 months, yeah, now we're talking and your average is starting to lower.
Yeah, to be more realistic.
Yeah, and that's okay. It is not an immediate thing. It's not like, oh man, I've been dieting for 2 days, I've lost 3 pounds.
Yeah.
We just don't work like that, man.
And what happened with me was, I went, okay, cool, I'm done dieting. I'm going to go in maintenance mode. So I went from 2,000 calories to 2,500 calories. And then in that first week or two, I actually lost some more weight. So you could easily, in that moment, be like, oh, I'm losing weight at 2,400 calories. But that's not true, because then eventually once a month or two went by of eating 2,500 calories, then my weight kind of like stabilized or gained a little, right? So then in that moment, I could be like, oh, why am I gaining weight on 2,400 calories? All it was in the beginning, that was it just doesn't happen overnight, like my total energy intake, like it's over time, like, and that was the difference. That's why, like, in that first week, it's not that I was like some super metabolism where I would lose weight by eating more calories. It's just that my calorie average over a month's time was probably still in a deficit.
Yep.
And then that's where we come also with like weighing ourselves like super often, and then getting too caught up in the numbers, right? Because then, like you said, you were keeping your fluctuations in your weight. Now I'm doing the same right now, as I'm kind of leaning out slightly.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
And it changes so much on a daily basis. Like one day I'll be 160, the next day I'll be like 162, and I could easily say, oh, I'm gaining weight. But the day afterwards I'll be 159, and it's just gonna be so much change that it's hard to just tell from a daily basis. But we kind of get scared so fast of that change that we want to make that drastic change.
That knee-jerk
like
reaction.
you said, we like things don't happen drastically. We need consistency over time in order to see the results. So like I was gonna go somewhere with this, but anyway,
Yeah. So and
like with my fluctuations, I would challenge people to do this. Like weigh yourself before you have to go to the bathroom, pee, poop, whatever you want to do, and then weigh yourself after.
Number 3.
You'll see a drop. So like, is that means that you are leaner now? No, you just pooped. That's all that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You just lost liquid and some like food that you just digested. So you just have a little bit less liquids in you.
Yeah.
That's all that happened.
The two things that are going to affect your weight on a daily basis are hydration, and then to a lesser degree, like food in your actual stomach. You know,
Yep.
like if you ate food and you have a meal sitting in your stomach, like that's weight.
Yeah, you
So,
might be a
but-
pound heavier with that
Right.
meal you just ate or whatever it may be.
But
Yeah.
none of that has to do with actual like body fat and
Nope.
body composition. So
And really, what matters is like what's the trend over a month, 2 months, 3 months, because that's going to tell you the real deal. So like if Diego's fluctuating up and down, 1 to 3 pounds, every day, but then over time, he's slowly gone from an average of 160 to an average of 156, then absolutely he's lost weight for sure. And if that's, trended downward over a month and 2 months, that's really what matters. And that's why that day-to-day weighing and stressing yourself out over it is just extra crap that you do not need to be worrying about.
yeah. Now I would say on the flip side, actually, if you want to be super accurate, like daily weighing is the best way to go. But you want to take an average of them. It actually
exactly.
It smooths out the fluctuations. But the problem is you have to not be emotionally attached to it. You can't freak out and change course. When
Or
you have
freak
the
out and eat a ton of
fluctuations.
food or whatever it may be, or not eat at all. You
But
just
taking,
keep doing.
like, weighing in every day and then dividing it by 7, over a week's time, and then using that weight as your weekly check.
I love it.
Is actually the best way to do it. But then again, some people have they can't separate the emotion from it, so that might not be the best way.
Yeah, I was gonna touch upon that because like if you guys heard the last episode that I was in, we were talking about my anorexia process, right? So like I've detached myself from weighing often because I know like emotionally it could be I could get too attached to that. So like okay, I'm in a new set point. I've come through a lot. I've grown a lot. Let's see how this goes. And if not, I know that I could drop it and then just kind of go in a weekly or whatever basis that I'm weighing myself. So I've been really checking in with myself when I'm like every time I weigh, okay, how does this make me feel and stuff like that. And I think it was like most days have been really good. And I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday that I weighed myself. And again, like the fluctuation went up slightly. And like it created a lot of anxiety on me, so I had to really like tone in on it. Be like, okay, that's just because there's a fluctuation there. One, it doesn't mean I gain weight. Reasoning sometimes it doesn't work when there's emotion, right? We try to reason the best out of it, and sometimes it'll work. 90% of the time it won't. So then, like looking into other things, like okay, what if I did gain a pound? Like, does that make me less of a person? Am I more unhappy? Like just looking at other points of view, other perspectives, to where I'm detaching myself from that concept. So it's just like yeah, we can definitely get into a rabbit hole and really attach to the numbers and cause a lot of anxiety or just like have it down emotionally. So if you're doing it on a daily basis, you do need to check in with yourself. Am I attaching myself to this concept? Am I like too dependent on it? Because you can start your day by weighing yourself, and that's gonna dictate that your day is gonna go back because you were 1 pound or a pound and a half heavier.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's a vicious cycle, and that's where like having, I think, when you have a coach or a gym or a trainer or whatever, you have to trust the coach and the process,
Yep.
like you gotta learn to like treat that like a security blanket, and like when Diego, when we send out, asking for people's measurements and such, like my favorite line is, measurement isn't a judgment. It's just information for making decisions.
Yep.
And Will and I have been talking about this lately. So that's the problem. Like, it's a little pet peeve of mine when people are like, oh, well, I don't care what the scale says, and kind of caution to the wind. But the problem is it just makes it really hard to have feedback when you don't track anything,
Yep.
Because then months could go by and it's like, you could say, hey, like, well, have you lost weight? Have you lost measurements? Have they gone up? Like, if you don't have any of that information, everything's a guess, right?
Yeah. Then we don't know, like, what am I doing? I'm shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
If I don't know, like, are your calories too high? Are they too low? Like, I don't know what's happening with you. So, it's hard to make a decision when you don't have any information at all.
Yep. So, you have, and here's the thing, like, if you have 20 pounds to lose, like, you have 20 pounds to lose. When people kind of get in their mind, like, oh, the scale doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't. Like, ultimately, it's like we want to, like, feel better, look better, move better, and know how we want to be. And, like, the number doesn't matter, but it does as
Decision
information.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
And for decision making, like if you're 180 pounds and you want
and
to
you're
get to a
5'4",
healthy weight to 160, like
yeah.
you need that information to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we want to get? What's a healthy weight? And then how the course of action? How are we going to get there?
Yep.
If you're not losing weight, then something needs to change. Like you typically like your food intake, right? So that's,
I mean, 99% of the time, that's what it is.
Yeah. So
It's not your activity level.
Yep. But anyways, and that's a whole tangent we can go on. But yeah, to spin it back to maintenance, that's where tracking these things and learning to not have emotional attachment to them are really just going to make you progress better and faster, because and more healthy. Because when you know these things, you'll be able to make better decisions and better adjustments as you're learning how everything works. How your body works.
Yep.
And also, as coaches, it gives us more. This gives us the ability to help you easier. If not, like Will said, we're just shooting in the dark. We'll just like, hey, well, let's try this. Let's see if it works. But we're gonna have that uncertainty. Where if we have the data, it's gonna be way easier. Hey, this is like the next step we need to take. Let's take this, and that pretty much is gonna not guarantee because all things can happen, but it's gonna be more likely that you're gonna have better results.
Yep. Yeah, the more data, then you can just make a better informed decision. If somebody comes to me or Diego or whoever and they're like, hey, this is what I eat every day for a week, and they have it completely tracked out and they're completely honest with it and it's just transparent data, that is so much easier for us to deal with, to where I can be like, okay, this is where we're going wrong. Like, this is the change we need to make. Whereas if someone's just like, hey, I'm not losing weight. Well, all right, well, what are you eating? And
I eat good.
I eat good.
That's the feedback.
I eat salads.
Yeah, like all right. Well, like what is that like?
What does that entail?
When you say I eat healthy, that gives me zero information. Are you eating 500 healthy? We'll say healthy. I don't even know what that word truly means. Calories. Or are you eating 4,000 healthy calories?
Or then you come in and you're saying I eat salads.
Yeah,
What kind of salad?
And then you're 190 pounds. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what's the concept of salad for you?
Yeah.
You could be eating 900 calorie salads at a
Exactly. Yeah,
restaurant
if you're eating
every-
3 of those a day, then bam, you're close to the 3,000 calories. Doesn't matter if you had a salad or not. The salad doesn't cancel out like the calories. It doesn't work like that. So what we're trying to say is the more info we have, and you have really, like you can just make a better, less impulsive emotional decision. And that's why tracking something, it doesn't have to be tracking everything, but tracking something can help you make that decision, whether it be just, weighing yourself every day, or hey, even weighing yourself once a week can still give you data and just seeing like, where's my weight going across a month? Or, tracking your calories daily, and just seeing, where am I at on average.
Or
That's
just
super
logging
helpful.
and journaling your food, just writing
Yeah,
down
or
what
just
you
journal, like this is what I eat every day, and then you can
Yeah.
show one of us, and we'll be like, damn, like you eat 10 grams of protein a day, like let's bump that up.
Yep.
It just,
And here's
yeah,
the
it
thing.
makes everybody's life easier.
And in today's world, like I don't want to hear it anymore. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I don't have time to journal my food,"
Yeah, you do.
or it's like it takes at the most. This is a stretch, 20 minutes a day. I guarantee you, everyone has 20 minutes of junk time on Facebook. or
Scrolling
something. Or
Facebook,
scroll-
For sure.
So
watching
all-
videos of
you
some
could
kid yodeling in
replace-
Walmart.
Yeah, you could replace a cat video or a scroll through Facebook with doing this, and
Yep.
that will make a huge difference.
I mean,
And-
use MyFitnessPal. Like, let's say you first start, it's gonna take you 10 minutes tops just to figure it out how it works. Once you get through a week, it shouldn't even take you
Well,
3 to 5 minutes.
And all your food's in there. So if
Yeah.
you eat kind of the same things, like, routine enough, dude, your food's already in there. You just really got to bring it back
Just
up.
plug it in.
It's on your recently used or your favorites list, and then it's actually really easy.
Yeah.
And then also, like, with that, it makes like the client, you guys, kind of learn how to make change for yourself, right? Because as coaches, like, we work as guys, and we want to tell you what, try to teach you what to do in the beginning. But in the end, like, yeah, once you start recognizing what works and you have it a little clearer because you have the data and you can kind of see why we're doing what we're doing, then in the end, like, you can make those decisions yourself, right? And then just come up to us where it's when it's actually like, okay, now I have like this doubt or uncertainty of what to do next. But let's say you learn, okay, my calories need to be at this point in order to lose weight right now, and then I can play around with it and still kind of track my food. And once I go into maintenance, bring it back to maintenance. So okay, I'm gonna up my calories 300 to 400 calories more. And I know I'm tracking it. So okay, let's see how this goes for 2 to 3 weeks, a month. And then if I'm not getting the results I want, okay, ask for a coach or something. But it gives you the tools to kind of deal with it, and kind of have a little better perspective of how your body actually works and what you're doing.
Yep. And it's something I've noticed since we kind of ramped up our, our level 2 coaching and all that. Like, it's how much awareness people have now with, like, just noticing trends in their own nutrition. Like, damn, like, I've realized I just don't get enough protein. Or, man, I was eating way more calories than I thought. And that's something, I never really would have thought of if I wasn't aware and tracking. And stuff like that, to where, like, like, it's empowering for one, like, because everybody has the tools to do it and the ability to figure this stuff out. We, like Diego said, like, we're guides, but, like, people do notice, like, oh, I feel better when I do this, or when this happens, or I notice I lose weight more when this habit is in effect and I focus on it. So just, it just gives you feedback, really, is what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah. And the actual true key, especially with having a coach, is, and here's the thing, is when things don't go well.
Yeah.
Like, facing them. Like, it's easy to say, oh, look at this. Like, I did everything I was supposed to, and good things happened. I'm proud to report this, right? But then when things don't go well and they aren't what you want, it's easy to then kind of stuff them and then ignore it, and then another week goes by, and then a month goes, whereas if you're like, man, there's another person on the end waiting for me, waiting for this information, it forces you to face it.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not like you're a failure because you ran into a problem.
No one's gonna like not have a problem.
It's really just like, hey, this is the data. This is what happened. How do we fix it, or how do we go about it? That's all it is. It's not that you suck. You're a failure. You're bad at this or whatever. It's just, hey, we ran into this problem. Let's figure out how to get through it. And that's really all it boils down to. and then we're troubleshooters. That's really our job, and then guiding you through that troubleshooting too.
Yep. So, in bringing this back to maintenance, again, like you would never know, when you need to go in maintenance if you're not keeping tabs on some information, right? If you don't know if you're or if you're even doing enough to have to worry about it, right? If you're like exercising and eating and just not losing weight for like 7 months time, and you feel like you're pushing hard, and then you're like, maybe I need to go in maintenance, or I need a calorie spike. Like, you don't, like, no, like, you just haven't even reached the point where you need any of that, right? Like, you have to dig in a little more. So, that's the power of having information, so you can have feedback.
Yep. So I say we wrap this up with giving people like a couple indicators of maybe like it's time for maintenance, right? Like what are some good things, just so people can identify, like, yeah, maybe it is time for me to take a little break and up my calories a little bit, let my body rest a little bit, right?
I would say the most simple is you've legit lost anywhere from 10 to 25% of your body weight.
Yep. And heck, if you've lost more than that, then it's definitely time for maintenance.
Yeah. And if you've been losing for like 3 months, dieting and being in a true deficit for like more than 3 months time is probably not ideal. Now, if you have a lot of weight to lose, it's, probably more fine, or if you're just, in a good zone, but ultimately long term, it's going to be best to probably take a little break every 90 days. But again, that's assuming you're legit in a deficit, losing weight. That's not like, oh, I'm kind of trying, I'm eating salads type deal. I'm eating salads for 3 months. Now can I switch to burgers or whatever?
Yeah, like if you've been losing like a pound a week for like 5 months or whatever it may be, and you've been real steady, then yeah, it's probably time for a break. And then notice too, like if you've been losing weight, and this one might be a little harder, just because you get used to how you feel. But if you notice, like, oh man, maybe like the past couple months, like my workouts have not been that good. Like I've just been kind of getting through it. My energy's been a little low. I haven't really gotten any stronger, which that'll happen when you are losing. But if it's been sustained,
or you're not recovering as fast,
yeah.
Like you're just getting a little more sore, stuff like that. You feel a little more beat down. Then yeah, that probably means your energy source is starting to get low.
Yep. So
soreness. That's a whole nother episode.
Oh yeah.
Relating a good workout to being sore.
Oh man, I could get so fired up with that. I
know we don't have that kind of time today. We're gonna have to do another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are a few indicators, just so people listening can get a few takeaways on, like where they're at and if they do need this, and and it's okay. And really, if you are tracking, a good way to go is just bump your calories up, a couple hundred, maybe 300 calories, add it in. See how you feel. Does your weight change? If you start gaining a ton of weight, then tone it back a little bit. But that would be a good place to start. And you're not going to gain a ton of weight really quickly. It's just not the way we work. So don't really be afraid of bumping those calories up and seeing where, what happens. How do I feel? Where does my weight go? What's the deal? So.
And don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Like if you're not someone who tracks your calories, like bumping it up 200 or 300 calories is as simple as, eat 2 or 3 more pieces of fruit, or have an extra handful of starch.
Yep. Exactly.
It's just.
Yeah, it could be, hey, cup of rice, boom.
Yeah.
That's it.
To some degree, like you have to have a handle on what you're eating.
It can't just be willy-nilly.
Whether you know your portions through just eyeballing them or through tracking them, like find some way where you can learn and know and be accountable for your food intake. If you're just willy-nilly in it, it's a losing battle. Like don't say, I'm going from dieting, and then maintenance mode in your mind is a free-for-all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not what we're saying either. Like maintenance is it's a fine line as well.
And then last, like you say, and you say it a lot, Gary, like maintenance in the end is like the ultimate goal, right? And then once you get there, just being okay with being there, knowing that there's not always going to be, like, we don't have to be looking for something else, looking for losing weight, looking for that. Like, in the end, keeping your weight and, like, getting to that point where you're actually a healthy at a healthy weight and lean and everything, that's where you want to be. And then just being steady and consistent with it, and being okay with not looking somewhere else for some other thing. In the end, like that's where you want to be. Is it super exciting? Is it like, oh, I look forward to it all the time? Probably not. But it is a hard point to get to, and it's hard to keep it. So like, just ultimately knowing that that's where you want to be, and there's no ups and downs from there.
Yeah, and the truth of it is, maintenance is a harder and more impressive goal than weight loss. You know,
Yep.
I mean, that's the struggle. A lot of people can lose weight, and then it's maintaining it. That's the hard part. It's just, for whatever word maintenance sounds, you know, in general, it's maintenance, right? You know, like
There's no excitement to it.
Everyone likes buying a new car, but do you like, you know, maintaining your new car?
Yep.
You know,
Or a house.
that's not exciting. So that's where it gets a bad stigma. But ultimately, that's a harder goal. You know.
Yep.
So if you make sure you approach it with that mindset, my goal is to get to this healthy weight where I feel and look best and have my most confidence, and maintain it. Then all of a sudden, it's a different animal. So start working on that maintenance mindset, and remember too, if you, this is all very nuanced. If you're someone who has 90 pounds to lose versus 8 pounds to lose, then you know there's going to be little different approaches. So that is where, you know, if you're not sure, if you like having extra accountability or wanting a coach to basically give you the treasure map, then yeah, find one. So and as always, if you have any feedback or questions or topics you want to hear or talk more about, just let us know. You can email us, social media us.
We'll rant about anything.
We will.
You can get Diego going with pretty much any topic,
Yeah, Diego will get fired up, start speaking in Spanish.
especially when he's got a little coffee.
Talk to me about calories burned during
yeah.
exercise,
Ooh.
muscle soreness,
Yeah,
There we go,
yeah,
muscle
there
cheese
they
on
are.
tacos, and you. I'll punch Will if there's
Dude,
anyone
what
else
if-
here.
It just starts whooping my ass.
Diego, what if someone was eating a taco with cheese on it and talking to you about how many calories they burned in their workout
And how they're making up for it with a taco
Oh, bro.
with cheese
There'll-
on it.
There'll,
How
there'll
sore
be
they
a
are.
fight in here. There'll be. I'll be throwing fists all over.
Oh man.
I'm not even double think that. Like I'm just going for it. I'll take the consequences that come with it.
Have to make you take a couple days off of work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. Holla back.
Later.
All right. See you guys.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.